Hey guys, it's Allison here, and apologize for the noise. Our neighbors are getting a new roof, is what it is. Anyways, I am back from our Disney cruise and a soccer tournament in Seattle, and I finally have time to unpack my crafting on the go kit and show you what I did accomplish. I did take some time to craft. It was not as sort of lengthy a time as I had hoped, and it got quite interrupted by my children, but I did create a few things, so let me show you them. I think this might be it. So this was kind of as far as I got, and I have added post-it notes to each. Remember, I put a pack of post-it notes in there so that I could write notes if I needed to add anything. I like to have my cards quite layered up, so I have added quite a few notes. So this one says add gems or sequins once dry. So I did some watercolor painting. I stamped the flower. This was from the July kit, and then I used the inks that came in the kit and I sort of filled in the flower, and then just did one simple stamp. And I think I'm just going to add like gems into the middle of each flower. Next one, oh yes, when I was stamping it, I'm not sure if you can see that, it didn't stamp super clearly the first time, so I tried to do a second stamp and it's slightly off center. However, I think I can fill that in with a black pen and just make it sort of thicker. And then I do need to add a bit more detail down here. I've added a couple of strips of patterned paper just for some interest, and then stamped the leaves up the side. This one just says, need something glittery. So I think I just cut out, I stamped the flower stamp with the yellow ink on a piece of pattern paper, and then just cut it out and popped it up, and I stamped some leaves from a different part of that pattern paper, added them with a little note. But I think it does need something a little bit glittery, so either some Wink of Stella or little gems. We'll have to figure that out. And this one, so I stamped a couple of the flowers on a scrap piece of white cardstock, and I've added a little note to punch with my small flower punch and add gems. So this is my small flower punch. This is one of the Stampin' Up! Sort of mini punches. So I can use that to punch out the flower shapes like I did with that one before I left. And then I can add them onto here for a little bit more interest. And add maybe little pearls into the center. So that was kind of as far as I got. I didn't get to do any of the Christmas cards that I was hoping to make. And it boiled down to a couple of different things. Yes, I was sort of having a bit more fun than I anticipated. Ha ha ha. But I also, when I came back to the room to relax, I just wanted to read my book. I was suffering from some seasickness, and concentrating on small things was not always the best plan. And usually I had another person in tow with me as well. But I still think that this was a good thing to bring, even though it made my suitcase very heavy, according to my husband. Good thing we weren't flying. I honestly wouldn't take this much if I were flying for a holiday. Maybe just one of these to work on with a couple of extra things. But because I knew that it was on the boat and it really didn't matter how heavy my suitcase was, I was okay with it. So good learning lesson. I hope that you can learn some things from my experience as well. Maybe what to do, what not to do, all that kind of good stuff. And I will get ready to finish these cards off. A total aside, but my little needle case actually came in very handy. I happen to have a little bit of thread in there, and we had purchased the lanyards for our girls' room keys, and for my little one it was very long, and I had tied a knot in it and it was quite uncomfortable for her, so I ended up actually sewing it, and I was glad that I had brought some needles. So that's just an aside. I also wanted to point out, I've just pulled my July kit out because this is where these particular cards came from. And I had done this before I left. I had just cut some of the pattern paper to a card front size. These are what they call A2 cards, so they are 4 1/4 by 5 1/2. So my pattern paper is 1/8 of an inch narrower all the way around. And so I had just sort of roughly laid out what those are going to look like so that I can add more things on top. So I've still got 4 more that I can work on today. And then just my other little bits of, I've got the extra pattern paper there, the stamp set, and some more white cardstock. These are watercolor papers. And I did try to stamp on one of them. I can cut that out still. The thing that I found with these inks is that they do sort of bleed quite a bit. And I'm not sure if that is the design of these particular inks, or if I've got defective ones, or I'm doing something wrong. I don't know. I've never used Stampin' Up! Inks before, or not Stampin' Up!, Simon Says Stamp inks before. So at first I was a little perturbed by it, but I actually kind of like that. And I think what I might try and do is use some StazOn and stamp it in black so it gets a bit of an outline. I think that might look kind of neat. And then I can cut that out and put it on to a card or whatever. So I just wanted to point that out. One other thing, I punched out these with my little flower punch, and I lined it up as best I could, but you can see there's still a little bit of white showing, and that's nothing wrong with that per se. However, it's not really what I'm going for. So I'm just going to take a pair of tweezers and the same color ink, and I'm just going to rub it in there, and it'll show up a bit darker initially, but it will dry and you'll never be able to notice that you touched it up. As long as you don't do what I just did and put it through the center. All right, carrying on. Okay, so that was quick and easy to finish up using my little post-it notes. So I just added 3 gems onto this one, and I think we're just going to call it done. Simple, but your cards don't necessarily have to be really complicated, right? And then I added my 2 little stamped and punched flowers and put a gem in each one. Simple, simple. This one, my note said to add something glittery, so I don't know if the camera will pick it up, but here I've added some Wink of Stella, and then I just dropped some Heidi Swapp Color Shine in Gold Lame and added 1 gem. And then this one, I filled in the writing, and I've just used my Sakura Micron in an 08. So it's a fairly substantial tip. That's not the one I usually journal with. It's a bit thick for journaling, but it was good for this. And then it needed a little bit of something, so I just added some more Color Shine little sprays. So it might seem a little bit ridiculous to take all those card sets and only make 4 cards, but you know what? 4 cards is better than no cards, right? And it was a cruise and we were fairly busy, so I'm quite happy with that. And I can keep working. I've got the other 4 card bases all ready to go, so I'll just keep working on those, and I will share them at a later date. Have a wonderful day, everyone. See you soon. Bye-bye.